During a hiking trip through the woods in 2014 near Lake Ontario, a man heard strange noises in the bushes nearby. He decided to turn on the camera and record the following. In the footage, we see a humanoid creature that crouches down and avoids the camera and a human. Perhaps it is a young Bigfoot who first encountered a Bigfoot. This is typical of this Bigfoot breed, but in the freeze frame we can see a face, possibly distinguishable facial features, nose, eyes, a monkey-like face. Now, we're examining a still image reportedly captured by a trail cam set up in a remote forest area. This image has been making waves in cryptid circles, and for good reason. At first glance, this scene looks like your typical boreal forest. Tall conifers dominate the landscape, and the underbrush is sparse yet chaotic with downed timber and natural debris. But right at the center, highlighted with a red circle, you'll see what many are claiming to be the elusive Sasquatch. Let's break it down. The figure stands out against the vertical lines of the trees due to its bulk and slightly curved, hunched posture. It appears to be mid-step, suggesting movement at the moment the photo was taken. This is crucial. Many hoaxes fall apart due to unnatural posing or static positioning. Here, the dynamic body angle hints at forward motion. What really catches the eye is the apparent contrast between the figure and the surrounding environment. Its coloring is a deep, matte black or dark brown, very unlike the lighter bark and foliage. This distinct tone helps define the figure's outline, which includes what appears to be a broad upper torso, long limbs, and possibly a conical head shape, traits often associated with Bigfoot sightings. Also worth noting is the scale. While we lack exact measurements, using the nearby saplings and logs as reference points, the figure looks considerably taller and wider than an average human. This gives some weight to the eyewitness claims that describe these creatures as standing 7 to 9 feet tall. Now, skeptics might point to shadow play or pareidolia, where our brains see patterns and randomness. But the symmetrical body structure and limb proportion here argue against a simple trick of the light. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Real, hoax, or something in between? This photo was submitted by a woman who lives just outside Fort Frances near Red Gut Bay, Ontario. In March, she recorded something unusual on video near her home. Given how remote the area is, anything out of the ordinary tends to stand out. She captured footage of a strange figure deep in the forest. The team at Rocky Mountain Sasquatch enhanced and stabilized the video, revealing something intriguing: a tall, dark-furred creature with what appears to be an unusually long arm and a massive hand. Sightings like this aren't unheard of in the region, so naturally, speculation has turned to Bigfoot. The woman chose to remain anonymous to avoid attracting people to her property, and who could blame her? The image has already generated a lot of attention. Back in 1996, a couple hiking through a densely wooded area had an unexpected encounter they believe was with Bigfoot. Using a handheld camcorder, they managed to record a few seconds of grainy footage that appears to show a tall, upright figure moving quickly through the trees. As you might expect from amateur recordings of that time, the video is shaky and blurred, but the creature's broad shoulders and distinctive gait have continued to spark debate. While skeptics argue it could have been a hoax or a case of mistaken identity, the clip remains an intriguing and often cited piece of alleged cryptid evidence from the late 20th century. In the video, we see a dark, upright figure going to a pond. The description of this massive and tall creature corresponds to the description of a Bigfoot native to North America. We can also see a great freeze frame in this video. Let's discuss it. This image shows what appears to be a large, upright figure partially obscured by brush. The resolution is low, but the subject clearly stands out against the natural backdrop. Broad-shouldered, dark, and seemingly mid-stride. Its posture and proportions don't match typical human movement, which has fueled decades of speculation. The blurry quality, while frustrating, actually supports its authenticity. It's consistent with the limitations of handheld consumer tech of the time. No signs of digital manipulation, no costume details jumping out, just raw, shaky footage of something strange. Skeptics suggest it could be a man in a suit, but that confident stride and limb ratio say otherwise. Is it Bigfoot? We can't say for sure, but it's one of the more compelling clips of its era. While walking on the way home, the man came across something strange. Let's see.
So I'm currently walking.
The author of the next video was invited as an expert on Bigfoot because activity, loud noises at night, and strange footprints were noticed on this guy's site. Let's see what we managed to capture.
All right, we're now in the southwestern corner of the property. Allegedly, this is where the guy said he had the most activity. That remains to be seen. A little spooky, I guess. It's mostly just quiet. Apparently they're building a subdivision over that way. Huh. Oh. What the hell was that? Ooh. Something walking. Oh, shh. Okay, all right. Okay.
What can I say? It's pretty creepy. A scary, massive creature is walking with terrible intentions towards the operator. We see what appears to be a classic silhouette of a Sasquatch-like figure deep within a forested area. The most immediately noticeable and unsettling feature is the glowing red eyes, which pierce through the darkness and vegetation. This alone adds a supernatural intensity to the sighting, giving the figure an almost mythical presence. The creature is largely cloaked in shadow, but its general shape is discernible, tall, broad, and seemingly covered in dark fur. His proportions appear humanoid yet oversized, with long arms hanging low and a pronounced bulky torso. From an analytical standpoint, a few points stand out. The red eye glow could be a result of reflection from the camera light, suggesting eye shine similar to nocturnal animals. However, Sasquatch is not officially recognized as a species, so this behavior, if real, could hint at unique ocular adaptations. Still, skeptics might point to digital enhancement, costume design, or post-production effects as explanations. I would like to see your activity in the comments section below the video, and also do not forget to subscribe to the channel. This will help you not to miss new videos. While hiking solo in the Canadian Rockies, a man was startled by an eerie, unnatural howl echoing through the forest. As he scanned the tree line, he managed to capture a few seconds of shaky footage showing a large, dark figure moving between the trees. Though partially hidden by thick foliage, the figure appeared upright and massive. The unsettling sound and brief visual have sparked speculation about a possible Bigfoot sighting in the area. Now, we have a very intriguing piece of visual evidence sent in by a viewer, Mrs. Jenkins from Buckinghamshire, England. That's right, the UK, a place not typically associated with Sasquatch sightings, but over the years has produced its fair share of reports of a creature some call the British Bigfoot, or wild man. At first glance, we see what appears to be a large, dark, bipedal figure striding across a harvested field, flanked by dense hedgerows and woodland in the distance. The landscape is classic British countryside, rolling fields, thick hedges, and wooded ridges. But it's that lone figure at the center that immediately grabs attention. The figure appears to be covered head to toe in a uniform dark material, possibly fur. The gait is unusual and lends an air of authenticity. It's mid-stride with one leg forward, arms swinging, and the posture suggests a slight forward lean. This is a classic hallmark in many alleged Bigfoot sightings, a powerful, confident stride. Scale is always tricky in these shots, but based on the hedgerows and fencing in the background, the figure seems quite large, easily over 6 feet tall. There are no visible signs of modern clothing, and the limbs seem proportionately long compared to a human. However, the resolution isn't quite sharp enough to make out facial features or finer texture, which is common with spontaneous cryptid photography. Now, let's discuss possibilities. Could this be a man in a suit? Certainly, but we must ask ourselves, who would walk alone across an open field in full costume in broad daylight, in a part of England not known for costume pranks or cryptid culture? Moreover, Mrs. Jenkins attests that there were no festivals or costume events in the area that day. Her dog, she added, became extremely agitated moments before the figure was spotted. Another interesting note: the figure is alone, isolated, and does not appear to notice the photographer, which reduces the likelihood of a stage hoax. The photograph doesn't scream viral attempt. It has that spontaneous, eerie quality we've seen in other credible Bigfoot cases. In conclusion, while we cannot confirm with certainty that this is a genuine sighting of the British Bigfoot, the photo presents enough compelling elements, the stride, posture, location, and context, to merit further investigation. If any viewers are local to Buckinghamshire and have seen or heard anything strange in the area, we urge you to comment below or send in your footage. This segment is a little different from the usual. I wanted to show you some new Bigfoot videos, but full disclosure, these ones are AI generated. It's becoming increasingly tricky to tell the difference between genuine cryptid footage and digital recreations. Still, I thought these clips were worth sharing, not just because they're visually stunning and show what Bigfoot might look like in crisp 4K, but also as a way to highlight the key differences between real footage and AI creations. These two clips come from TikTok user Havoc Theory, who put together some incredibly realistic AI videos. The first gives us a close-up of Bigfoot's face. Aged, wrinkled skin, long shaggy hair, and strikingly human features. It's a fascinating interpretation. The second video is similar, but showcases more of a Yeti-like version. This one has lighter skin and bright white fur, perfect for blending into a snowy environment. Now, even though AI is advancing rapidly, there are still telltale signs that set it apart from real-life footage. For example, AI often struggles with micro-expressions, natural hand movements, and realistic blinking, either blinking too often, too perfectly, or not at all. Movements can also feel a bit off, either too stiff or too smooth, giving an uncanny vibe. These flaws often become noticeable when the creature walks or shifts its gaze. So, I hope you enjoyed this slightly different segment. Hopefully, it gave you a cool look at what Bigfoot might look like, and a better eye for spotting the differences between AI and real-world footage. We're examining one of the strangest and most talked about still images to surface recently, a photo allegedly captured by a trail cam or hiker's camera near a rocky overlook. The creature in question? You guessed it, another potential Bigfoot sighting. Right away, the setting tells us this is high-altitude terrain, exposed rock, cliff edges, and sparse vegetation, a perfect environment for staying hidden, until now. Centered in the red circle is what appears to be a dark, humanoid figure peering out from behind a rock ledge. The form is low to the ground, mostly hidden behind stone, but the visible portion is intriguing. We can make out a dome-shaped head, broad shoulders, and what seems to be arms resting on the rock. The creature appears to be crouching or squatting, a behavior often described in Bigfoot witness reports when the creature attempts to remain concealed while observing humans. One of the standout details is the coloration. The figure is covered in jet black or dark brown fur, which blends seamlessly into the shadows cast by the rocks. This camouflage could explain why so many such creatures go undetected in the wild. A game warden and his son were patrolling a remote wilderness area when they unexpectedly came across a strange, tall figure standing in a shallow stream. Quickly, they recorded a short clip with their cell phone camera. They called out to the creature, but it appeared to ignore them. The creature, covered in dark, matted hair and moving with a slow, deliberate gait, resembled descriptions of Bigfoot. The footage has sparked lively debate online, with some considering it one of the most convincing sightings in recent years.
Hey, you!
Bigfoot sightings around Sutton Lake in central West Virginia aren't exactly new, but they might date back further than most people realize. According to Andrew Smith, director of the Braxton County Visitors Bureau, tales of a mysterious wild man in the region have been passed down for generations. In fact, old newspaper articles mention an ape-like creature roaming the area's woods long before the name Bigfoot entered popular culture. Smith notes that reports have steadily come in from the lake and surrounding regions for years. And it's not just the lake itself. Sightings are spread across the broader area, and Smith believes the environment plays a big part. Dense forests, dark skies, and isolated roads make it the perfect place for something to remain hidden or observe from a distance. Whether legend or something more, Sutton Lake is clearly a hotspot for strange phenomena. Meanwhile, similar activity has been reported in Ontario. A man named Boyce from Fort Hope submitted a photo taken near the same general area as other recent sightings, simply asking for opinions. Just a day later, another local, identified only as D, shared a video showing a fresh Bigfoot trackway in the sand, which trailed off into a marsh before vanishing into the forest. Echoing previous accounts, D also reported multiple creatures, possibly even a juvenile. One nearby camper described hearing eerie cries shortly after finding a set of large prints side by side, spaced 5 feet apart. Another local tried to recreate the tracks in the same packed sand, but couldn't even make an impression. Experts estimate the footprints to be 14 to 15 inches in length, with a stride and depth that suggests they weren't made by a human. The camper who heard the strange cries speculated it might have been a juvenile calling out, possibly to his parent. Whatever it was, it adds another layer of mystery to an already compelling case. This trail cam image captured on December 31st, 2010, at precisely 6:17 p.m. Let's break down what we're seeing and what it could mean. The image was taken using an infrared trail camera, a common tool in wildlife monitoring and cryptid research. The most immediately striking feature is the motion blur, an almost ghost-like figure sweeping from right to left across the frame. The distortion suggests rapid movement directly in front of the lens, triggering the infrared flash and smearing the details. Now, let's talk about shape. The upper portion of the blur shows what looks like a rounded, slightly sloped head, possibly with a protruding brow or snout. There are visible shoulder contours and an arm-like extension, hinting at a bipedal figure. The body appears thick and solid, with proportions consistent with many eyewitness descriptions of Bigfoot: broad shoulders, narrow waist, and long limbs. Importantly, this isn't a typical animal. It's far too large and upright to be a raccoon, deer, or coyote. The height relative to the horizon line places this figure well over 5 feet tall, possibly closer to 7, depending on the camera angle and positioning. Skeptics will immediately point to the motion blur as an argument against credibility, but seasoned researchers know that most legitimate trail cam Bigfoot images are fleeting, obscured, or partial. That's the elusive nature of the beast.